Hey YouTube, it's SoulPrime13 coming at you with another Transformers video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the X-Transbots Abbadon, which is their take on a MP galvatron. So, yeah, this is going to be, it's, how should I put this? He could have been a really good figure, but unfortunately, he was made by X-Transbots, and I'll be honest, this is going to be the last figure I ever buy from them. I'm tired of $200 figures showing up and having terrible quality control that makes them, basically like counterproductive. So I'm just gonna get that out of the way now. I could have really loved this figure if they had just actually taken care in their process of putting it together. So, anyway, we will start with a quick look at the box. Move you over to the side here. We do have some nice artwork there on the front. And on the side we have "Let them hate me as long as they fear me." This side we got that same quote. We got some line art of the cannon. We got I think, yeah, that is the same artwork, just close up on his face. And on the back we do have this neat artwork and some tech specs. On the top we just have the logos again. And on this side you do get a picture of his cannon mode along with your QR instructions, which again I am not really a fan of. And I think these weren't even working at the time I actually received this. I don't remember. I watched, I believe it's Tyridium Hanger is how it's said, I think. I watched his video, and he actually broke his during his video. So, yeah. That should give you an idea of how well that went. But yeah, here we do have the figure. He's showing up a bit more on the bluish side, at least as far as what my camera's showing, but it seems like my camera screen and my camera's recording aren't quite the same. So he does have some neat accessories like the Matrix on a little metal chain here. There's that, and it does open a little bit. So that's neat. Is solid on the back. We do also get several alternate faces. I haven't really messed around with these too much. Like the one time I did switch one is because his face literally fell off because his front of his head came off. But they're not too hard to switch. You could literally just pluck it off and slip it under. And he does come with a very significant blast effect. Unfortunately, he can't really use this in the robot mode because it's just too heavy. So, but you can plug it on if you want. Oh, and he does come with a little collector's card. So, there's that. But yeah, no physical instructions. But, going over the details again, he does look very good. Does have a nice metallic purple, some nice gunmetal gray on those kneecaps and on his boots. Does have some red for the knee pads and in his abs. Nice metallic red for the eyes. He does have his little goatee there. I will say that the backpack is pretty clean. He does hold together pretty well in robot mode. I will say I don't love the way the tips of his feet are done. They don't lock in or anything. I'm pretty sure these are die cast, but yeah, they can just kind of flip up. Fortunately, it doesn't affect how he stands or anything. He has got pretty significant stompers here. But yeah. He does have some chrome here on his collar as well, and they did actually mold it to wrap around the front of his chest as well, which is kind of neat. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Let's go over his articulation real fast. His head Does have plenty of movement. It's also on a hinge for transformation, but you can get some movement there. Maybe I should get this up just a smidge. Get that going there. His arms can do a full 360, and they can come that far up. He does have double jointed full ratchet elbows, and he can get quite a significant bend in there. His hands are on a swivel, and he does have some articulation in his hands. He does have the index, trigger, finger, the trigger 3-finger split. He does also have a hinge at the thumb, and these both have 2 hinges at the base and at the middle of the finger. So there's that. He does also have this wrist movement, which is more for transformation, but it is nice to have in the robot mode. See, pretty much the same for the other arm. Not really any movement in the cannon, but there is something to talk about that later on. We do get a very nice waist, and I think, yeah, we do get an ab crunch, a very stiff ab crunch. I believe it's on, yeah, it's on a ratchet. We do get these hip skirts do come up like so, and you can kick all the way forward, but again, his legs are pretty heavy. They do have quite a bit of die cast in them, so sometimes they will just flop back down. This back skirt does flip up as well, and we do get some back movement. We do get a little bit of outwards. These hip pieces do get in the way. We do get a full double jointed knee bend, so we get plenty of movement there. You do also get a hinge on this piece, so you can move that depending on how you want to. We do get a thigh swivel. It's very stiff, but we do get it. That reminds me. We do get a shoulder swivel, more so than a bicep swivel, but we do get that there. And we do get some up and down, more for transformation, but you do get some up and down at the feet. And we do get some ankle back and forth. It's limited. You can see the hinge there. It's, you know, got stuff on either side, but you do get the movement there. So there's that. Let's see, is there anything else I should go over? Do want to do a couple of quick comparisons. Here he is with the Studio Series Galvatron, and they're pretty similar in color. This one's a little bit more on the bluish side in person, but and here he is with the More Than Meets the Eye Studio Series Hot Rod. So you can see how he stacks up. I should have grabbed my MP Hot. Oh wait. Wouldn't you know it? I do have my MP Hot Rod. Yeah, there we go. So there's how that works. Okay. And I think that's about it for the robot mode. And this is quite a transformation, I will say that. And it's where most of my issues lie. But we will go ahead and get started here. So the first thing we're going to do is we actually want to come here and bend his waist forward. And we are actually going to take these hip skirts and flip them all the way over like so. Then we are going to take these and move them down. And we're going to bring them here. And we are going to put them up. You can sort of see there's this little bit that's cut out here. we're just going to move that up here, like so. Now, we do want to do a little work here on the legs first. So, what we need to do is we do need to come, they're slightly different inside, but yeah, it should be here where this hinges on the back, on this leg, and we just kind of open that up a little bit. And I'm going to just move this out of the way. Oh, right, and we do need to untab this and fold it up. There, now it's opening a bit more. We do want to take this whole assembly, which I think is tabbed in here. Okay, hold on. I think this part is supposed to be tabbed in here. Let me check from the top. Oh, it's not tabbed in, it's catching, that's why. There we go. It was catching on his knee pad. You want to unfold this whole assembly here. And we can just fold this out like so. And then we want to take these two panels here and bring them up and together like that. And then we just kind of want to move that out of the way. We're going to come here to the other side, and here I believe we split on the outer side of the leg. We just want to crack that open like that. Just move that foot out of the way, and this is sort of on a double hinge, you can see here. And we do want to just open this up and fold this whole assembly out. And then we are going to come here and turn the legs like so, so that these two purple pieces face inward, like so. So now we do want to work on the feet a little bit, and so for the feet we do want to fold up these toes, and we are going to move this double hinge ankle joint like so. And let's see, yeah, we do want to fold this panel over. Oh wait, no, not yet. I think I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Yeah. No, that's right. Okay, we do want to do the other side as well. Fold that toe up. We do want to bring this panel like up, sort of. And I believe, yeah, we want to close this side up here. Well, actually, we want to get this folded up and around so that this whole assembly is facing butt ways. And then we're going to close this back up. And what we're going to do, we need to, let's see, I know there's a way to join all this. Do we leave that up? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we leave that up, and then we just sort of squish it. Oh yeah, you do want to take this knee pad and you are going to sort of slide it into this gap under that purple piece. You do want to make sure that these are all the way up against his thighs so that there's room. So it's going to slide under just like this. And then this, there is a tab here and here for here and here. And we are just going to tab those in together. And now we should be able to get these feet up. You do want to make sure the toes are facing all the way up. Like that. And should be how that needs to look. Now we can bring this whole assembly over. Bring this whole assembly over. I want to make sure that that's all the way in. And yeah, that's not quite what we're doing yet. And now we do want to rotate these, and they do rotate one way better than the other, but you do just kind of want to flip them over, and then you're going to bring them together like this, and you can see there are two little tabs right there. They're going to come down. That's all going to tab together. And now we can sort of just bring these under. Oh, and this tab does go into a slot right here, like so. And then these panels, make sure this is flat, and then there's a tab here for a slot here, like so. And then tab and slot, tab and slot. Oh, and you do want to make sure that you put the side with the tab first. So, fold over like that. And these are going to fold up, and there's another tab and slot. And tab and slot. And that is most of what we're going to do with his legs, but we are done with that for right now. Now we do need to start on his upper body, which we want to start by undoing his backpack. So they're kind of like a set of tabs here, and you're just going to kind of wiggle them all loose and get them all out of the way. There we go. And we do want to pop these up as well. And there, now we got this all out. And this is where things start getting a little more complicated. We do want to bring these up. We are going to bring them around. And then this, we want to bring these panels. They're on a double hinge. You can sort of see how they're going to come up here. You just kind of want to hit these. Actually, we want to move these up a little bit for now. So you can see there is a little tab and slot there, and these are at an angle, so they will just sort of come together like this, like so. You can see now it's nice and flush. Then we're going to lift this up. We do want to untab this section, and we're going to unfold these, and we're going to rotate them and bring them up like so. And I think that's it for that part. Yeah. So now we want to bring these down to back where they were. Let's make sure we get them down. And now you can see there is sort of a tab and slot, and there's sort of a shaped groove here. These are... Oh yeah, and there is a slot here and a tab right here that you need to be aware of as well. Get that all to go in. And pretty sure that, yeah, this is on a double hinge as well right here. So you want to make sure that that's all the way in the up position so that the tab and slot will actually line up like so. And do the same on the other side. That is up in there. And now that will go together. Go together. There we go. Oh, and I missed this little slot tab right here. Okay, there we go. And now we can just leave that for now. And we can start this apart. So again, we do want to make sure that these are lifted up. Do bring his arm up out of the way. We are just going to bring these out to the sides and make sure that we getting everything out of the way. And come on. Let's see. Pretty sure we're supposed to untab this from the front. Yeah, there we go. Bring this out. Get this shoulder untabbed here. Just come on. Why are you being difficult? Let me try moving this back in a little bit. There we go. Yeah, there's a tab slot right there. That's a little snug. Get this out. And it should allow the whole front chest section to come down. And you do want to be aware of these two pieces. These two pieces right here, because they are actually part of these of his tank. Keep bumping the camera. His little tank legs. So you do want to sort of. They are on little hinges, so sometimes there we go. And you want to lift up this joint that his shoulder pieces are on and fold those forward so they can safely move them. And now this whole section will come down like so. We'll get your camera a little bit here. So now we just want to sort of fully extend these little tank treads, and this is going to come around. You can see there are a couple of tabs. It'll tab in here and just lock that whole section, and then there is a slot here and a tab here, and that's going to lock that in place. Fold this piece around. It's on a double hinge, and I believe that is everything for his little tank legs. So just rinse and repeat on the other side. Go ahead and tab that in, and then fold this around and around. And there are tiny little metal wheels in here, so it does actually roll. And we can just sort of leave that part for now. Now, coming back here again, I do kind of want to bring this down a little bit more. So, his arms are on some little swivels and hinges here. We do want to make sure that we get those out. Yeah, these are a little squeaky, but they're solid enough. Just sort of bring this onto the side like that. Do want to bring this. Let's get this out of the way first. Knock somebody off the table. Okay, and this whole assembly here should rotate on this silver piece right here. You're just gonna bring it, and again, there's a hinge and a swivel in here as well, and you do want to tab it into this white slot right here. I believe it needs to face, there we go, that way, like so. And you don't need to get it all the way tabbed in just yet, just best to get it lined up. There we go. So now we do want to start working on the stuff back here. And we do want this sort of facing down, that, and like that. And this is where a lot of the complication is. Trying to see. Oh, I forgot to flip them out. There are these little tabs right under here. You can see the hinge right there, but you do need to hold on. Come on. Forgot to do this earlier. Just get that out. There we go. It's easier if you just get it from this side closer. Yeah, like that. Okay, now let's get this reset. assembled. So one of the biggest issues I had was these little tabs here. They are not the right size. I had to sand them down a fair bit to get them to actually plug in to, you can see them, there's slots right here and here, and when those don't plug in, nothing wants to line up. So I had to sand those down quite a bit, and that was quite an issue at first. And there were a couple other small things, but like that was the biggest deal, and it took me forever to figure out that was the main issue, was just these two little tabs not wanting to connect. There is of course a matter of like lining stuff up, and there are a few other tabs that are a little finicky, but that was like the biggest part of it. That actually messed up the entire transformation, which is one of the reasons I was very critical of this when I first got it, and one of the reasons I've decided I'm not really willing to support transbots anymore. Anyway, so we do want to, you can sort of see how these are going to come together, but we do want to get the arms lined up the right way, and that does include these panels that are on his back. You can see there's a big old tab slot here, and you're not going to want to completely plug them in yet, but you are going to use that to kind of line it up, because we do still have a little bit left to do here with this. But oh, before I forget, these little bits fold down to fill in those gaps. Yeah, these little bits right here. Those are actually kind of easy to forget. Let's see. And you can see the cannon panel is loosened up. Let's see. And these, getting the arms to line up quite right also takes quite a bit of fiddling. But for the most part, you want the elbow joint here to face, they're going to face inwards because of how his arms are positioned in his alt mode. So we do want to get that, and I feel like I'm forgetting something about how this is supposed to line up. I don't think I am. I'm not seeing any part that rotates here. So I'm just going to try and bring this around. And again, oh, I think I know what's going on. I think I just have this angled the wrong way. Now, figuring out which way it's actually supposed to face is a different story. Okay, yeah. You do want this facing out because this slot right here at the very end is for this big old tab right here. So we do want to bring that in like so. There are some pokey bits on here like this, and actually no, I think that's the other one, but yeah, nothing super sharp on this guy as far as I remember, but yeah, there are some pokey bits. So yeah, there is that. We want to do the same with the other side. That just came untapped again, but yeah, just get this out. Oh yeah, and this tab does go into this slot right underneath that screw, like so. But yeah, we do still want the arm oriented with the elbows facing inward, like so. Get this tabbed in like that, and yeah, you can see it keeps popping off. And there's a little tab right here that's going to go into this little slot right here as well. So yeah, again, it's quite a bit of fill-in to get these lined up. And once, like, I shaved down those tabs, they were actually able to line up to, you know, some degree. Before, like, it was a matter of tab one thing in, something else pops out. But fortunately, now that I know what the problem was and have sanded those down, it doesn't happen quite as much. Come on, get in there. Get that in there. Okay, so yeah, now we're starting to come together a little bit. And I think, yeah, now we want to bring these, and again, you want the elbows facing in, and this is why the swivel is more towards his shoulder, is because of how his arms have to line up for this. But you do want to have this armature wrapped around you. You can see there's some curvature here, and you want to just tab that on here like so. And like these were another one of those tab one in, the other one comes untabbed kind of things. These are not quite all the way on. There we go. So there is that. And again, yep, see how that all just popped up? There's that. Try and squeeze that together a little better. And we can get these just sort of tabbed in. Now the shoulder pieces like that. Yeah, that one isn't. There it goes. Gotta make sure tabs. There's like a little lip on the bottom that wasn't all the way in. Anywho, now we need to work on getting his head in the right position. And fortunately, that's pretty straightforward. You just kind of fold it down. I don't think. Oh yeah, there is a panel here. I think it's. Pretty sure it's this top part, but okay, yeah, never mind. Fold that all up, bring that down. Now you can see that the abs are there, and it lets it sit a little more flush. And then you just kind of tuck his head in like that, and then the arms. So on this side, you can already see this part is moving around. You do have to untab that same panel here on this arm, but for some reason on this arm it is ridiculously snug. So I'm probably going to end up like untabbing a bunch of stuff just trying to get this out. Or it'll work for once. Okay, cool. I'm not going to complain. But yeah, you basically swing that down around and cover his hand with it. And then you're going to bend these guys at the elbow. And I'm still not 100% sure like the best way to position his hands. But you're basically going to like bring his hands together sort of like this, almost like he's cuffed up. And then on this side, we do have to do the transformation for the cannon. And it might seem kind of neat that they, made the cannon all attached, but honestly, I think just unplugging it is the less chaotic option. But for some people, this is probably what they prefer, so to each their own. But yeah, we do need to untab the cannon barrel, and you want to be very careful because, like as I mentioned, I was watching, I believe it's Teridium Hanger is how it's said, but it was actually this panel that the cannon's attached to. Right here where it's thinnest, it just snapped off. So you kind of want to support it with your fingers, but you're going to open this up and bring this around, and now you can see there's a bit of a hinge there, and it's all sorts of weird, but do need to trying to remember this part always gets me flip-flopped. There we go. Bring the cannon down a little bit more, and now it'll all just flip around and unfold like this. And then you're basically, and you can see how this is all just on that one little hinge. You do kind of want to, there's a way to get this around safely. Right, I think it's, yeah, you just kind of want to swing this underneath that leg because it's going to go up here. Now we can bring this back up. And I know there's like a spot where everything tabs together. I don't remember exactly. I know it has something to do with these big tabs right here on his belly, but we are basically just going to bring this together and bring this up. I want to make sure I'm still not entirely sure what I'm missing, but I know there's something. Yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah, you see those white parts kind of slot in. Then we're going to bring this up, and we do want to close this up again. And there are two tabs. There's a couple, well actually no, there's three. One's a lot smaller, but there are three right there. So we're going to bring this up. We do need to make sure that this doesn't come out of its little slot. And bring this up, close this up like so. Again, we want to make sure that's all together. And there, you can sort of see there is a little tab right here. There's a little slot on this side. It doesn't stay together like at all, so I don't really fiddle with it too much. It's just kind of a waste of time to try and get it to work. It just will not stay, and this came untabbed again. And again, I'm not even entirely sure like what the best way to like orient the fists down here is. Fortunately, these parts are ratcheted, so they won't flop around too much, but you can see there's a little wiggle to that. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. Then we are going to want to deal with this whole bit. So these little hooks right here, there are little slots right under his wrists, and we are going to just tab those in like so. We do want to straighten this out, and there is where is it? Pretty sure there's like a hole. I'm trying to remember how this part folds out. I think, yeah, it's just this little bit that folds out, and this came untabbed. Yeah, again, that's one of the issues I have with this guy. He does kind of untab a bit. There is a locking point here, so you'll kind of feel it catch. Yeah, see, now it's all held together. But just kind of push that in a little bit more, and then we do want to come up to the cannon, and we want to split it down the middle. There we go. And this whole thing is going to fold out, come around, and close back up. And again, we are going to push this back up, and then we're going to slide this, and this is going to lock it into place, and it's much more secure now. And that is essentially Galvatron in his cannon mode. And again, fixing those two little tabs brought the transformation on this from a 2 to an 8 for me. Like, that's how much it helped. There's still some fiddly factor, but like I actually don't want to like insert really inappropriate statement here every time I transform him. Like it makes it goes from unbearable to slightly enjoyable just from sanding those pegs down. Because yeah, seriously, like they're like those two little pegs that are right under here stop the entire transformation from working when they are, because they're just too big. Just nothing else wants to tab in. But yeah, sand those down and he actually becomes somewhat enjoyable. Again, I do think that the cannon should have just like unplugged and plugged in, but you know, I'm sure a lot of people are going to love that it's fully integrated. Really, my issue with it is that, you know, that you can see, like, that is a very thin piece of plastic at the attachment point. And as I mentioned, the video I watched, he broke his just moving that around. Like, he was just moving it and it just snapped. So I always make a point to support it with my fingers as best I can. But yeah, I will say that I do like, at least now, how this whole part comes together. And he does basically flip inside out. Now, as for the glaring issue I do have with this mode, it's his arms. Like, it is very clearly he is just hugging himself around the waist of his cannon mode. And that really does bug me. Because, like, even Hasbro's did a little bit more to disguise the arms, I feel. Like, yeah, you can sort of see his knuckles sitting there, but, like, you turn him over, his arms are just there. And this is like a $200 figure. Whereas this was like 55, 60. So I definitely have some issues with that. By the way, here's a comparison of the Legacy version of Galvatron. But yeah, aside from that, and again, that really does like hurt my overall score for his vehicle mode, or alt mode, I guess I should say in this case. It's not really a vehicle. But yeah, I will say otherwise it does look good. I do actually, now that the transformation works, I do enjoy it. By the way, I do want to bring in that ginormous blast effect because it's really for this mode. But yeah, you can do that. Do I have a Starscream over here? I don't. Darn. I should have thought of that. I got a Thundercracker, but that's not the same. Anywho, but yeah, so you do get that big old blast effect there. And if you want, you can, you know, take the matrix chain and just wrap it around the cannon. So there is that. But yeah, I've just kind of reached my limit with X transbots because had this worked properly out of the box, it would have easily gotten a 9 out of 10 for me, despite the, you know, huge arms on the vehicle mode and some of the fiddly bits. But because I had to spend like, I want to say it was like 3 hours trying to transform it the first time, trying to get everything to lock together. And then it was like a whole nother day before I really realized like it was the panels that were messing the entire thing up. And then I just had to shave them down. That really drops the score. That shouldn't be an issue, especially on a figure this expensive. I'm not going to tell anyone else not to buy it. Because I again, the transformation is fun when it works. Keyword, when it works. The robot mode does look good. I mean, again, the toes kind of bother me, but they're not super loose, and it doesn't make him like tip over and fall all the time. He's stable, and the majority of the cannon does look really good. It's really just the fact that his arms are just kind of hanging out there. So yeah, out of the box, he's like a 2 out of 10, but with a slight little bit of modifications and some practice, he easily jumps up to an 8. So yeah, you know, it's up to you whether or not you feel that that's still worth getting. Again, I'm not going to bother with any X Transbot stuff anymore because I've bought a total of, what, I think 5 or 6 figures for them, and each and every one has had major problems. Because there was this guy, I bought their Cyclonus, none of his vehicle mode tabs together right. I'm probably going to go back and see about possibly altering some small tabs on him and see if that helps him. I got their Ratchet and Ironhide, which I really enjoy their transformations, but they both had very loose ankles and their waists don't tab together. They don't stay tabbed together, so their ab crunch is super floppy. I had their Inferno, who I ended up selling because the wheel components in his feet were both for the right foot, so he couldn't transform his left foot. So yeah, like there's always something, and I'm tired of it, especially with the significant price tags they come with. But again, I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. I'm just going to say be aware. I'm pretty sure it's pretty common knowledge at this point among collectors that X-Transbots has really crap quality control. So again, this could have been a home run if they had just like actually tried to make it work properly at that final stretch. So, but that's enough rambling from me. Whether you decide that this guy is worth the trouble or not is up to you. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review, and this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.